Hello and welcome to the Vermont Department of Corrections Connections podcast. We are doing another iteration of our special team series. Today we're going to talk about special response team, and I'm here with Jody Barrier. He is the DOC staff safety manager. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. Another wonderful day. Good Thursday, use of force week here at the Academy, so it's been entertaining to say the least.
Yes, it has.
Yes. So to get started, have you do a little intro. What I'd like for you to kind of walk us through maybe what interested you in DOC to begin with and what your path has been.
What interests me, kind of like a lot of young kids, we kind of get that I want to be a policeman type thing in our head. And I've always had an interest in law enforcement. And then I kind of veered toward corrections, kind of as a stepping stone into law enforcement. But I actually enjoyed corrections, and I stuck with it. I've been with the department for going on 27 years, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I was hired at Northwest State Correctional Facility back in 1998, and back then you always started off as a temp officer and earned your way to a CO1 position. So after I think it was about 3 months, I got into a CO1 position. It wasn't long after that I got hired as a CO2, and then within 3 years I was sitting in an interim shift supervisor spot. A little too quick, in my opinion. But
Okay.
When you're young and gung-ho, you don't think about that stuff.
Sure. Yep.
But then when they offered me a position to be permanent, I didn't want it. I wanted to kind of lay back and just do different things as a regular correctional officer.
Okay.
And somebody with 3 years in, it's kind of hard to supervise somebody that has 20 years in.
Yep.
So I just kind of took a step back from that.
Okay. So you stepped back down into CO2.
To a CO2, yep.
Okay. And then how did you navigate things after that to end up where you are today?
Well, originally I was from New York, moved to Vermont, seeing I got hired over here, and then kind of didn't like living in Vermont, saw a lot of clientele on the street, so I moved back to New York.
Yeah.
And, being from New York in such a long drive, and the next closest thing is like St. Albans probation and parole, I kind of figured my destiny was just being at Northwest State, so I wanted to make the best of it. After a few years, I actually put in for shift supervisor again. I got it. I did a lot of stuff there. You kind of got to prep for those positions. I oversaw the FTO program.
Okay.
Became a firearms instructor, all of that cool stuff. And then I had the position of special teams coordinator popped open.
Yeah.
And I was encouraged to put in for it because I was the team leader for the St. Albans tactical team. And I put in for it, was hired. I was in that position for approximately 3 years, and then this current position as the staff safety manager opened up. I kind of filled it on an interim basis, and then got hired permanent, and I've been in this position for, I think, just over right around 3 years now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you mentioned getting like firearm certified and all that stuff, which is that's normal. For clarity, not all posts have firearm certification.
Right.
As part of the day-to-day duties, but Northwest does have that. So what was your introduction to SRT?
Well, I was working third shift. I was the booking officer, and when I first started, St. Albans, and I don't know about other facilities, but St. Albans did not have a tactical team.
Okay.
And my third shift supervisor was tasked to organize a team, and he asked if I would want to be on it. So, of course, I said yes, because again, that just helps you in the long run with your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I got on to, back then it was LERT. So
Yeah, I remember.
Local Emergency Response Team.
Yeah.
So, I told them I would do it, and I've been on special teams ever since.
Okay. And so when did you kind of take over responsibility of kind of controlling a team and or even on a bigger scope of having influence over teams throughout the state?
I used to give a lot of the trainings, even though I didn't oversee the training, or the team.
Yeah.
I would say it probably started in about 2005, 2006, where I kind of got that foothold on the team of being a trainer. I was a use of force instructor. I had got sent away to be a less lethal instructor. And I'm kind of one of those staff that, like, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So I always was eager to get, more trainings under my belt. So I kind of, everybody knows of Jimmy Hansinger. He was our team leader, and he relied on me to give a lot of the trainings and to help come up with stuff. And then when Jimmy retired, I don't remember the year exactly, that's when I took over the Northwest Tactical Team.
Okay, so like just from what you're saying, like there really wasn't that organized of a team at the time when you originally were introduced to it, but it's evolved and you were part of that localized evolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what it was I believe there was a state SRT team back then.
Okay.
But then superintendents wanted more of a kind of their own teams in each facility, because we did have some situations where emergent uses of force, and I think it was actually a unit takeover took place, and by the time the state SRT team was organized, it's already been diffused, handled, so the superintendents wanted more of a localized response.
Absolutely.
So that's why they came up with LERT, and then we, just like anything else in corrections, then we have to change the name of something. So
Sure.
we changed it to a Special Response Team.
And it's been that way for quite a while,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess kind of getting into the basis of it all, what is SRT, or Special Response Team? Like an overview, just for everyone who doesn't really understand it.
To me, SRT is like your best of the best. These are the staff that want to be involved. They want to be able to be part of a situation. It's a big, it's a lot of responsibility.
Sure.
Some staff want that. They want to be a part of something else. And the camaraderie is huge. When you're part of, I get corrections as a family.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with higher risk situations and stuff, that camaraderie kind of puts you closer with your team.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to get into kind of that selection process. Now, it's because it's not necessarily centralized. And I know you can't speak for every facility in this aspect, but what does the pre-selection process look like for people who are interested in becoming an SRT member?
Well, the process pretty much, so every superintendent they oversee their team.
Sure.
So the selection process, like you just said, it varies from facility to facility. Most of the time, the facility will put out like an email to their facility saying we have openings on SRT. If you're interested, please apply. And typically, they'll also tell you what the application piece looks like to get on SRT, which is there's a physical fitness standard. You have to do a certain amount of push-ups in under a minute, a certain amount of sit-ups under a minute. You have to run for a specific time frame. And a lot of other teams will also do like a scenario where there's OC involved, and different things like that. And again, each facility is different.
Okay. And for those who don't know, OC, oleoresin capsicum,
Right.
pepper spray, that's used in the facility for security measures.
Yep.
And so is like you mentioned push-ups and the run and things like that, is that standardized or is that by site?
That is standardized.
Okay.
That
So
is
everyone has the same expectation, and that's pre-selection
Right.
for those things.
Yep. Across the board, it's the same.
Okay. So if an individual is selected, is there a centralized training expectation for that individual?
No, we used to have basic trainings where we would we would hold it here at the academy, and we would do a lot of the certification trainings like impact munitions, expandable batons, NFDDs, which are diversionary devices, handheld devices.
Okay.
And get people certified in those areas before they actually went to the training or trained with their facility.
Okay.
So that happened. I think we only had like one or two. Okay. And then because of staffing levels, it's hard to pull 5 people out from one facility to come to a training. Plus, it's not like they all hire at the same time.
Right.
So one facility could have 4 or 5 new members for a year, where others just a couple months, and then you're running these trainings. So
okay,
it's
not centralized. It's site specific. After
correct.
They're selected, what that training process looks like. Okay, so they've applied. They've been selected. The facility will manage and run the training process to get them onto a team. What does the expectation of those team members look like as far as is it regionalized or is it statewide? If there are call outs once they've been selected and trained, what's the response expectation?
The response expectation?
Sure.
The response expectation is you're responding. You're not on call 24/7.
Yeah.
And there's been times where we've had call outs and staff have things going on, so they can't attend, which is fine. But the expectation is you're showing up with your gear. It could be something is happening at your facility, or you're being sent to another facility, but you're showing up, and you have to be ready to go. The tough thing is you could be new on the team and only have attended one training.
Yep.
You're still going.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the hard part is you could be facilities don't train the same exact thing at the same time.
Right.
So you could be put onto a team and they just got done a certification training or use of force training or something like that. They're not going to start over just because they have new staff. They can't, because then they're wasting time with the other people that are already on the team. So it's a progression thing.
Yeah, kind of like rolling training schedule.
Yeah,
where you don't start over because somebody's new or whatever. There's no like level 101, 102 kind of thing.
Correct.
It's just you enter where the team is at, and then you keep going and get certified as you go.
Yep.
So it's statewide. So if you live in we'll say Newport, for example, and then probably the farthest facility from that location is Marble Valley down in Rutland. Mm-hmm. If there's a call out, you're headed from Newport to Rutland?
If you're assigned. So we have like sister facilities. So you have like a backup facility. So with Northwest State, it's with Chittenden. And with Newport, it's St. Johnsbury. And with Springfield, it's Marble Valley.
Okay.
But you could also be...
Depending on the volume or the severity of the incident.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have that localized response where you kind of have your region that you're responsible for quicker, because it doesn't make sense to call everybody to every incident statewide.
Right.
When it's going to take you 2.5 hours to drive to an incident that ended an hour ago.
Exactly.
By the time you get there, right? Yep. That doesn't work. But okay, so depending on the severity, you could go. It could be statewide, but for the most part, there's that sister facility situation. Okay. And not to get into incident details or anything, but what are some of the reasons for call-outs that you see?
What we've seen in the past, hostage situations, unit takeovers, yard takeovers, Those are pretty much what we've seen in the past. Mostly unit takeovers.
Yep.
So,
And it doesn't seem like they're overly frequent, but they do happen for sure. Knock on wood. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, they don't happen a ton. I think the state has been a lot better with managing their populations, where they're putting people with who they're putting people with. So, yeah, we haven't had a situation in a while.
Well, and I think it speaks to the right. Incidents happen. We get that. There's a lot that can be done prior to that to help prevent that type of situation from happening. And I think that as a department, we continually strive to be better at that period of time to prevent the big incidents, right?
Yep.
And so hopefully we continue to get better in those moments,
Right.
so that we can, as a department, be a lot safer all the way around.
Yep, I agree.
For someone who is interested in being a member of SRT, are there any DOC trainings or things that they can do to better prepare themselves for entering onto a team, or just being a better candidate for the team, and if they get on the team, being better suited on the team as a member?
The biggest thing, like, if I was to give somebody some recommendations, number one, I would just say, do your job.
Yep.
Don't get involved with drama and all that stuff. Just be good at your job.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Take on extra duties. As far as trainings go, use of force is always a good one. So is ACT, because, before we go hands-on, we have to, go through the verbal piece as well. Getting certified for those facilities that have a post perimeter, getting firearms certified. Just show interest, but don't be too eager. That's huge in my book. Just get your job down first.
Know the basics before walk before you can run, kind of.
Exactly. Technically there's a 2-year, you have to be in corrections for 2 years, but a lot of places are waiving that because of like staffing levels and and not being able to fill positions on the team. Sure. So sure, you get a lot of people that are applying before the 2 years, but it's been pretty good from what I've seen.
Yeah.
The staff they're getting.
And as far as across the department training, so someone who's already been gone through the training expectations of their facility, they're on a team and whatnot, are there a lot of opportunities to work with other teams throughout the state? Continued training by the teams? What does that look like?
Yep. Trainings are supposed to be conducted once a month.
Okay.
Excuse me. So once a month, there's usually a 4-hour block of training specifically for the tactical team. We're also trying to implement cross-training. So we have SRT training with CI, crisis intervention, because you had asked me some situations where special teams is needed or SRT is needed. Hostage situation.
Yeah.
CI is there for their piece, and then SRT shows up as well. So we're doing a lot of cross trainings, joint trainings with other tactical teams. We're going to get back into holding Squad 1 trainings again. It's kind of hard to hold Squad 1 trainings when you're pulling 8 or 9 people from one facility with the staffing levels, but we're going to try and get back to some of those. So if facilities can send, even if it's 3 or 4 people to a training, we're going to have those trainings again.
And what is Squad 1 training?
Well, so Squad 1 training is, these guys are supposed to be like your firearms staff. So what it was originally Squad 1 was trained in NFDDs, again, that's the handheld munitions, impact munitions, firearms, and all of that stuff. When I got into the special teams coordinator position, I kind of branched it out a little bit, because if you're only training Squad 1, and technically back then, if we were sending somebody to Chittenden, it was Squad 1. Well, if you send people to Chittenden, your Squad 1 team to Chittenden, there is now nobody at your facility that can deploy handheld munitions or use impact munitions.
Okay.
So we've kind of made that a little bit broader, so everybody on your team is getting certified in those areas. Plus, it makes sense that these guys are exposed to something that's exploding right in front of them, so the first time they see it, they're not pausing or shell shock or anything like that. So they're used to it.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that exposure training and just understanding, just like with anything, it can be jarring when you're first exposed to something that's intense.
Yep.
And so having certain levels of experience of seeing what that thing, whatever it is, does, and or how it affects you or the people around it and things like that can matter. Absolutely.
Yep.
And we talked to CI, Crisis Intervention, before, who really talked about the cohesion between crisis intervention and SRT working together in those intense situations. So it's good to have that cross-training with anything, so you get a better understanding of how everybody fits in especially in a crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any common trends or things that come up, or things that aren't what SRT is that people think it is? Do you ever see anything like that? Like people come in with expectations that just aren't?
No, not really. Not to my experience. A lot of the people associate SRT with the tactical aspect, that they know that they're the people that are going hands-on and stuff like that. So, no, it seems like they know what's expected.
Sure. And the reason why I ask that is because you're like, be interested, but don't be too eager.
Right.
And so, I'm just kind of curious what that looks like on the applicant side of things.
Yeah. Well, they learn about special teams here. Yep. The special teams coordinator comes in and does an EP training with them, and also brings up every special team, and they do a discussion about it, so they know exactly what it is. And of course, you get the really gung-ho people that as soon as they get back, they're asking how to get on it and stuff like that. So it's great to research it.
Yeah.
Just
be
one step at a time. Yeah.
Be good at your job first.
Exactly.
And then get to know that. Absolutely. That makes sense. Perfect. And thank you for joining and participating.
All right. No problem. Thank you for asking.
Yes. Have a good one.
All right. You too.